Hi, besties. My name is Mikey, and welcome to my house. This is the very first episode of my brand new podcast, Mikey's House. And I'm so excited that you guys could come over and just hang out for a bit. For those of you that don't know me, if this is your first time coming across me, my name is Mikey. I'm 25 years old. Well, actually, I'm recording this on my birthday eve. So in a couple of hours, I will be 26 years old, which is very surreal to me. I have no big birthday plans other than going to Chili's and getting apps and margs. But what else could I want for my birthday? That sounds amazing. And if you know me, I'm all about that triple dipper. Anyway, I'm already getting sidetracked. See, I knew that I was going to do this. I was like, I really want to start a podcast, but I'm so ADHD and I go off on all these crazy tangents. I wasn't sure how this is going to go, but this is going exactly how I thought it would. Anyway, if you are new to seeing me or hearing me, hi, my name is Mikey. I am 25, about to be 26 years old. I am an artist, an audio engineer. I am a rare disease advocate and a content creator. For the last 2.5 to 3 years, I've been documenting my journey about living with a rare disease on TikTok, Instagram. It's kind of surreal how many people have resonated with my story, and I've loved every second of getting to know all of you. It's been very crazy to watch my story go viral and resonate with so many people. I've met so many people through sharing my journey, and it's been amazing. However, I am here today to take it to the next level. I love making videos on TikTok. I love making videos on Instagram, but it's kind of like walking on eggshells these days. Like if I post something that someone doesn't like, they can just report my video. And for some reason, TikTok does not hesitate and they will take my video down. And then I have to fight to appeal it, to get it back up. And by the time I get it back up, it's just like too much work. So I wanted to create a separate place where I could express more of myself to you guys, my unfiltered thoughts. I want to talk about everything, my life, my experiences, but I also want to talk about like weird shit. Like if someone wants to ask me about Bigfoot, or if I want to do a whole episode on, like, I don't know, John Benet Ramsey, I can do that here. And nobody can tell me anything because it's my house. So that's why we're here. Before we go any further, I just want to say that this is a safe space. No conversation is off limits here. I'm here to raise awareness and to talk about anything and everything. I want this to just be like, you're coming over to a bestie's house for a spill the tea sesh, you know? You're just coming over and we're just gonna talk. I genuinely am tired of the censorship that I experience on TikTok and Instagram. It's just ridiculous. So hopefully this is a way where we can just indulge ourselves and not have to worry about that. And I also hope that this is a chance that you guys can see, different sides of me more than I show on TikTok or Instagram. I feel like my social medias are very heavy on raising awareness for my conditions like epilepsy and ALS, and raising awareness for people with rare diseases, and I love doing that. But I want this to just be an extension of that, where we'll also do that here, but like I said, I just want to talk about anything and everything, and I feel like I have so much to say. And I just love hanging out with you guys. I truly do. So hopefully this can be kind of a comforting place that you guys can go to if you feel like you need a friend or just need something to watch. I don't know. Listen to. So yeah. Also, huge thank you to everyone who has just been there for me through the beginning of this. I never thought that we'd be here. But your support means so much to me, and I hope that I can continue to be a source of information for you, somebody who makes you laugh. I don't know. I'm your bestie, you're my bestie, and that's how it's going to stay. I have nothing else to say on that matter, but I love you, and thank you for being here. So since this is the first episode, I genuinely had no idea what to talk about. I went on for like days, like trying to plan out what this episode is going to be about, because it's the first episode. So I was like, I don't know, there wasn't a lot of pressure, but it's just kind of like, what do I talk about? And so I was really nervous, and I was like, okay, well, if you're meeting somebody for the first time, you just, have small talk, you ask questions. So I kind of wanted to treat this episode as an icebreaker. You guys get to know me a little bit better, and we could see what happens from there. I don't know. So I'm kind of thinking we kind of turn this into like a 21 questions kind of episode. And yeah, so I went on my social media and I asked you guys to give me questions. It could be about anything. It could be about my medical journey, my life experience. It could be even be about Bigfoot or aliens, true crime. I don't know, whatever. And so I went on social media. I asked you guys what you wanted to know, and you guys came through with lots of questions. So I picked a few out because obviously I can't pick all of them. There was a lot. But I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions today. So hopefully this is a chill episode. Grab a snack, grab a bevy, grab a blanket. I don't know. Just get comfy. I'm here in my bedroom today because I was like, well, I named this podcast Mikey's House. So I was like, okay, maybe kind of a homey vibe. And I feel like my bedroom definitely gives homey, but I feel like it also gives hotel room to some extent. I don't know. I have a weird sense of like minimalist style when it comes to my house. Like my clothes are very like not minimalist, but my home is very minimalist, modern decor. So but this is me. This is how I like it. And there's nothing like waking up on some white sheets. I don't know what it is that I get the best sleep of my life on white sheets. It really does something. Like when I wake up in a hotel room, rejuvenated. I don't know what it is. So I kind of wanted to recreate that at home. And I feel like I captured that pretty well. So I've been sleeping really great. But I don't know. I really hope that this podcast goes far, and maybe I could, I don't know, create a set or a studio or something. That would be so fun. I would love to do that and just make it a little more appealing to you guys who are watching on YouTube and not just listening. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it and get into these questions if you guys are cool with it. There was some funny ones. There was some deep ones. So this might go all over the place, but I really want to show you guys who I am. So I chose a little bit of both, funny and kind of sad and deep. So hope that's okay with you guys. But we'll end on a happy note. This isn't going to be super deep, I promise. All right. So the first question is, you are cute. Are you single? I am single. I just also want you to know that I did click on your profile and saw that you are female. And all I have to say to that is I'm beautiful in my own way because God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't know that I am a raging homosexual. I don't talk about it online because I just have never been asked, and I've had to let so many people down, and I feel so bad. But yes, hi gay. Also happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride. It's already Pride. Isn't that crazy? We're like halfway through the year. Also I love that my birthday is in Pride month. It's very on brand for me. So but yeah, anyway, I am single. This next person says, "Hey Mikey, what are your favorite bands slash artists?" Listen, I could go on and on. So I started out my career as an audio engineer. I went to school for it. I think when I turned 18, and loved every second of it. But it has just opened my mind to music that I've never even you know, heard of before. Different genres, different bands, especially like I live in this area that's very heavy on local music, local artists, and I love supporting local artists and bands. However, when it comes to my music taste, I don't want to say basic, but it's giving like Tumblr girl playlist. So my favorite bands or artists, I'm gonna say my favorite band is the 1975. Matty Healy just does something to me. His vocals, I don't know, they're all just musical geniuses up in there, and I'm obsessed with the 1975. I think that every record they've put out has been amazing. There has never been a song that I've skipped by them. I think my favorite songwriter though is probably Phoebe Bridgers. I, I don't I don't know. I've never listened to someone else who could sing about drinking a shower beer and at the same time I'm crying. Yeah, she just does something to me. I don't know. She's amazing. I love Phoebe Bridgers. I love Miley Cyrus. Oh my gosh. Her new music, insane. I love Chapel Roan. I love Chapel. I love, oh gosh, who else? Why did my mind just go blank? I love lots of artists. Oh, I like The Fray. Love The Fray. They recently commented on one of my Instagram posts, and I sobbed violently for 30 minutes. And then after I stopped sobbing, I started shaking. 30 minutes later, I stopped shaking, and then I had the courage to like their comment and reply back. And then I put it on my story immediately. If you guys saw that, yeah, I'm still not over that. Shook. But I'm going to see them in July. So very excited for that. The Fray, if you're watching this, love you guys. Ooh, Ethel Cain, Preacher's Daughter. Are you kidding me? Maybe we should do like some like album listens. Like, Ethel Cain, Hayden, hi. Who hurt you? And I'm so sorry because goddamn, it is such a good album. Your music, wow. Okay, first off, the first song I heard by Ethel Cain was American Teenager. Immediately transcended, felt like I was back in high school. So great. And then my favorite song though is probably Sun Bleached Flies. If I would give anything to hear that live. And that, yeah, I don't know, so good. I love all kinds of artists and music. I'm not really into country unless it's like Kelsey Ballerini, but you could find me listening to anything. My playlist is very broad and expansive. All right, next question. Can we stream your music on Amazon? Hi, bestie. Yes, you can. For those of you that don't know, I'm also a recording artist. I started making music right when I started audio engineering school. I really wanted to become an audio engineer because I was tired of going to studios and having to go through producers and audio engineers, and I was tired of the middleman. So I was like, if I could just eliminate the middleman and become the audio engineer, I would just have to work for myself, and then it would just be like, I'd save so much money. Wouldn't have to spend money on studio time, and it was really worth it. But yeah, so my band's name is called Weekend State. But I plan on releasing some solo stuff soon. But yes, you can stream my music on any of your favorite streaming platforms. Again, my band's name is Weekend State. If you check it out, I would appreciate it. All right. Okay, next question. What are you most excited about? I'm guessing you just mean in life. Well, I'm most excited for a lot of things, like new music coming out. I'm excited for Wicked for Good. The trailer came out, I think, today or yesterday. Sobbed within the first, as soon as she started singing for Good, game over. I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. But yeah, so excited for that. When I first saw Wicked, shocked. I was absolutely floored. I knew I was going to cry. I went in there knowing I was going to cry, and I went alone. I went alone for a reason. I called an Uber and I went alone because I did not want anyone to see me cry as hard as I knew I was going to. So I get to the movies and I sit in the front. That way, if it got too emotional, I could just leave. And it did. But sat in the front. It was a full theater. Of course, the big moment at the end comes, during Defying Gravity. And yeah, I bawled like a baby. And as she's flying off, I just got up and left. And I called my brother to come pick me up because I don't drive anymore because I'm disabled. But he comes to pick me up, and I'm like, while he was on the way, I was like getting myself together because I didn't want him to know that I was absolutely losing my fucking mind in the parking lot of this movie theater. So sitting out there collecting myself, I see his car pull up and I'm like, all right. So I go over to his car, get in, and the first thing he asks me is, so how was the movie? I was just like, it was so good. And then I start bawling and I'm like, I'm so sorry. It was just such a good movie. And he's just looking at me like, this, he's insane. He's absolutely insane. I literally, it looked like I had lost my mind, but it was just such a good movie. So Wicked, I'm very excited for Wicked for good. Next question. Okay, this was kind of worded a little strange, but interactions with strangers regarding your health that irritate you, do's and don'ts. So I guess basically what you're asking is like, is there anything that people have like said to me in regards to like my health or situation? And are you, I guess you're asking for, you know, what people should do instead of this. So, I'll give you guys a couple of examples. So, right when I was starting to become disabled, we had no idea what was wrong with me at the time, but I started using a cane because it was just getting a little harder to walk, harder to get around. And I was in the lovely, beautiful city of Colorado Springs, Colorado. I lived there for a while, but I had went back. So I got sick, came back home to live with my parents in Texas, but I had a doctor's appointment in Denver, so we had to go up to Colorado Springs. We were staying there, and because we were not staying in Denver, and we were at, oh gosh, we were at this like, was it the omelet parlor? I can't remember what it's called. Locals don't come for me, but I'm gonna say it was called the omelet parlor. But we were at this restaurant and we were walking. We went in and they said it was going to be like an hour wait, so we just decided to go to IHOP. So we were leaving. We were in the parking lot and this guy was going to his truck, but then he turns around as I pass him, and my parents are in front of me, and me and my brother are walking together a little bit behind them. And this guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey." Well, he starts to come up to me, but he goes, "Hey." And he's kind of far back, and so he kind of runs up to us and I'm standing there like, "Oh no, what's about to happen?" And he's like, "Hey, so what's your ailment?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Your ailment, what's your ailment?" And he points to my cane and I'm like, "Oh." And so I told him, I was like, "Well, I have a hard time walking." And he was like, "Oh, well, you just seem really young." And I was like, "Yeah." I think I was 23 or 24 at the time. And I was like, "Yeah, no, it sucks." And then he was like, "Okay." And so I'm standing there with this guy and I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "Okay, well, have a good day." So maybe that's a don't. Don't just come up to somebody you see using a mobility aid like a cane or a walker or even someone in a wheelchair and ask what they're using that for. Just don't do that. That was weird. Um, But I mean, I've had like lots of strange interactions with people in regards to my health. I should just like have business cards that are like linked to my like TikTok or something and just hand that to them and say, any questions you'll have to reach out here, because it does get overwhelming. And all right, this person asks something that keeps you motivated and happy. Well, there are a lot of things that keep me motivated and happy. I think in my situation, it's important to stay positive and to keep a positive mindset and open mind, especially when things are always so up in the air. Um, but easier said than done. I know it's hard. I see both sides. I've lived it. I'm living it right now. But some things that keep me motivated and happy are, the work that I'm doing, raising awareness for people living with rare diseases, epilepsy, ALS. Um, you know, you guys keep me motivated and happy. You guys, your support keeps me motivated to wake up every day and show up as my best self. To support you guys and to be there for you, my friends, my family. I think pop culture, new music, movies, entertainment, TV shows, podcasts. I mean, like there's so much in this world that you can look to for motivation and happiness. It's it's right in front of you and you don't even realize. I There was a point where I was just so mad at the world that this was happening to me, and I could not see the positive in anything. My world was just gray. But I started therapy. Shout out to my therapist. Love you, girl. No, she's a real one. And after that, that was kind of the turning point for me. Like my world started getting color back, and I started realizing like it was like in front of me all along. Like the things that I love and have loved and enjoyed are right in front of me. So you don't have to look far. But yeah. This person asks, how do you feel about your romantic life since your diagnosis? Well, it's non existent. Well, okay, listen. So, it's just hard. It's, we live in a time where the dating scene is very superficial. It's especially a lot of it is online because half of us with social anxiety and agoraphobia don't want to go to the bar and meet somebody. Also, I don't drink anymore, so like liquid courage, where like I'm not getting a random burst of courage to just go up to somebody. I don't know why I can't do it. Um, Wish I could though. Wish I could. But that's just not me. So there's that, and also being gay and disabled, throwing that into the mix. Forget it. It's like impossible. Well, I don't want to say it's impossible because I do see people, who are happy in happy relationships in similar situations as me. So I know it's possible. And that's an insecurity on my part that is like, I don't know if that's like internalized ableism or what, but that's just how I feel. I feel very insecure now. I think like, not like so much like, oh, who would love me? Like, I know whoever I end up with it will be lucky to have me and I'll be lucky to have them. But, it's definitely shifted my perspective. Being in my situation before, I didn't really have any problems dating. I still kind of struggled with like, insecurity issues, confidence, self-esteem, whatever. But now it's just like times 10. And the thought of like dating somebody makes me want to vom. I am on the dating apps. I got on Raya, which I don't know how I was accepted into that. But everyone on there just makes me feel so, everyone on there is so hot, and they make me feel like, I don't know, everybody's nice on there, but I just go through the profiles and I'm like, yeah, we are not in the same dating pool. I do not deserve to be on this app, but I am. And yeah, so I'm on the apps, I talk to people, but I have a hard time meeting people in public because, well, it's like, what do you do? Do you, at first I didn't put that I was disabled in my bio. And then, I would start talking to somebody and then eventually they'd want to meet up. And I'm like, do I tell them or do I just show up with my walker and my wheelchair? Well, so obviously I didn't want to do that because I hate confrontation. I would hate to do that in person. So I would be like, yeah, I'm down, but by the way, there's a problem. And then I tell them about my disability and how I, can do certain things, blah, 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 whatever. And yeah, I would get ghosted. I've been blocked. It really, yeah, it's really crazy. So that also just like hurt my self-esteem. But I try not to let it get to me because that's a loss on their part. Right. That's how I'm trying to see it. And do I really feel that way? I don't really know. But yeah, so my love life, it's really non-existent. I've talked to a few people and I don't know. I just have a hard time with it, but maybe that's something that I'll figure out in the future. Maybe through therapy. I don't know. If my therapist is watching this, hi, get ready for next week's session. It's going to be about dating. I could probably do a whole episode on that, honestly. Have you noticed any change in your singing voice slash range of notes you can reach? Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's, I can't sing for as long and I can't really belt anymore. Not that I was really able to before, but I really can't now. And if I sing for too long, then my voice just gets really scratchy and hoarse and sounds like I've smoked like 20 packs of Marlboro Red 100s, um, all at once, back to back, chain smoked them. And that's kind of just how it is, you know? My voice is changing and it sucks and it's hard to come to terms with, but there's nothing I can do about it. And so I'm trying to just record as much music as I can right now. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, this one's really good. What's one thing you really want to experience in life? And what's your favorite memory of summer as a kid? Okay, so that was two questions in one. I just said one question, but I'll answer both of your questions. So, something I really want to experience in life is probably like, I don't know, sounds cheesy. You can come for me, I don't care. But probably falling in love. I've been in like three serious relationships in my life, and I can't say that I was truly in love. I don't think they could either. But yeah, I really want to experience that, uh, especially in my situation. Now I want to experience it more than ever before it's like, too late. I don't know. Is that kind of morbid? A little bit, but that's just how I feel. So yeah, I think a lot of people in my situation are like, oh, I want to travel more. I want to see the world. And I'm just like, I want a boyfriend. I want like to get married. I want a husband. And I don't know, like that's weird because it's never been a goal of mine. Here we are. All right, so your second question was, what's your favorite memory of summer as a kid? I don't know, probably just swimming and like eating like candy from the 90s that was toxic for you, getting sunburned, jumping through the sprinkler in the yard. I don't know, and drinking like the old school Capri Suns. Do you guys remember the old school Capri Suns before they like, I don't know, turned into whatever they are now? Like the old packaging, and like I remember their orange juice was literally like orange juice. It was so good. That's what I miss from a kid. Like that, when I think of my childhood, that's what I think of. Favorite cuisine and experience with said cuisine. Well, I wouldn't really call it a cuisine, but it's definitely something. My favorite meal of all time is a buffalo chicken wrapper from Cheddar's. Hear me out. This is the most delicious thing I've ever had in my entire life. And I know Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen of all places, but listen, girl, their buffalo chicken wrap plus their ranch, also I think that they have the best ranch. For me, my ranch, okay, it's like my top three ranches. Top is Cheddar's, second is Chili's, third is Wingstop. Okay, I'm so sorry. That's just I don't make the rules here. That's my list. But yeah, buffalo chicken wrap. And my favorite experience with it, I think there was one time where I ate an edible and I was blackout drunk and it was hit me real sideways. Um, and it was not that late. But I said, you know what would make me feel so much better? I just needed to be grounded. Oh, the bar is real low for me if this is my favorite experience with this meal. Okay, I just needed to ground myself, all right? So you know what I did? I DoorDashed some Cheddars, a buffalo chicken wrapper with extra ranch and fries. Let me tell you, that was the best night of my life. Cause it comes with like four big buffalo chicken wraps, like four. They're huge. Man, I ate every single bite, plus the fries. Devoured all of the ranch. I was soaking that buffalo chicken wrap in ranch. I love ranch. I'm a sauce queen. I was with my friend Sammy and we were eating triple dippers at Chili's. We like to go like once a month and get triple dippers. Um, and she was like, "Oh, you're a saucy kind of girl, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I am." And she was like, "You like your shit wet?" And I was like, "I do." And she was like, "Nah, I like mine dry." And I was like, she's like, "I like to be able to like dip it in and put as much sauce as I want to." And I was like, "I want my boneless wings soaked in sauce, like whether it's buffalo sauce, barbecue. I want it soaked, and then I'm going to soak it some more in a bucket of ranch. I don't know if I'm psychotic, or is anyone else like that? I don't know. Let me know, comment. But I'm a sauce queen. Yeah, I love sauces. So I don't know, probably that night when I was like cross-faded on an edible and blackout on Patron, that was a really great, that was a great night for me. That was probably my favorite time with buffalo chicken wrap. I remember that night fondly. How has ALS affected your perspective on love slash sex? Lots of questions like this lately. And I'll kind of touch back into it. It's kind of the same. I think it's more of like a internal insecurity issue. Like I think that's a skill issue on my part. Like it's as far as love goes, it'll happen for me. I know it will. It's just hard to imagine because it's just like, why would somebody want to take that on when they know it's going to happen? So that's kind of hard for me. But like also I'm like that, but I'm a hopeless romantic. So it's like also I'm mentally ill. So I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you guys. But as far as sex goes, I mean, everything works. So it's like, why not? I just, again, but well, now also the insecurity, like my muscles are wasting. I am not toned anymore because I can't work out, so I'm not as active. So I don't know. Like, I'm just like, just like, don't look at my body. I don't know. I feel like I imagine myself naked and just immediately wanting to be like, hey, so you into no lights? Because they're like, I don't know. I also, I get so tired and fatigued so fast. I fear that I've turned into a pillow princess. Again, I think it's an insecurity thing. If this ever changes, hey, we're already talking about sex, so I'll keep you guys in the loop. Uh, Next question. When you're having a bad day slash long periods of time when you can't do much physical activity, what do you like to do in your free time? Have you been more slash less motivated to try new hobbies? Well, I have very good days and I have very bad days. And on those very bad days, um, especially on the days where I'm not feeling like doing much because I'm either tired or fatigued, I don't know. I'll lay in bed. I'll play Roblox. I will scroll TikTok. Um, that's what my bad days look like. If you're friends with me on Roblox and you see my little the green circle that says active, I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well, okay? So join my Dress to Impress server and cheer me up. But as far as lately, like if I've been interested in new hobbies or anything new, I really haven't. You know, it's just, I don't know, I've had a lot going on. I haven't really thought about it. I guess some hobbies that I would probably be interested in getting into is reading more, maybe photography. Um, I don't know. My hands don't really work well anymore. My right hand is still good, which is why I'm holding the mic with this hand. Left hand, not doing so hot. Well, anything like crocheting, which I've always wanted to learn how to crochet. I've always wanted to learn how to knit. I've always wanted to learn how to sew. That's out of the picture. So I kind of have to find hobbies that are accessible for me now. I don't know, stamp collecting. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Okay, I'm scared for this one. I just saw the beginning of this. So this person says, deeper question, dot, dot, dot. Do you think being diagnosed with ALS has stopped you from looking for closer connections with new people knowing your future? Um, yes and no. I think when it comes to friendship, no. But when it obviously, like we have just talked about, when it comes to like relationships, like on a romantic level and not just platonically, absolutely. But we've already talked about why. So yeah, yes and no. Someone asks, have you experienced any change to your angelic singing voice slash range in the last several months or years? Yeah, so kind of going back to that, just the last year is when I started noticing a difference in my singing voice. Also, just not being able to hold notes as long, or running out of breath, or having to get on my ventilator like right after, making music. It's definitely noticeable. Pronouncing certain words are a little weirder. Like sometimes it sounds like I have like a lisp or a slur. So that's been kind of difficult to address and work around. But I'm trying to work around it. I think that, as far as like timeline, I think just a year ago is when I first started noticing it, and as time has gone on, it's just kind of slowly progressed into different things. So yes, I have experienced changes to my singing voice. I love this question. What about the world makes you go wow? Like, what blows your mind about our existence? Bestie, everything. Just the fact that we're here is crazy to me. The fact that all of this worked out and we're here, that's insane to me. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. So, for me to just sit here and say that like none of this has meaning would be crazy, you know, but also it's just like maybe our purpose is really just to like live and experience things. So I would say just being able to experience things through human eyes as we do. I mean, we are beings capable of doing so much, but I really love our ability to love one another, to communicate and relate and feel things. That really makes me go, wow. I mean, whenever I first came onto the internet, I made that first video that went viral. And it was literally me just coming on TikTok because I was so lost. I was stuck, scared. I had no idea what was going to happen in my life. And I just thought, well, there has to be someone out there going through what I'm going through. So I posted that video, and it was literally me on my bed. I was having horrible side effects from the epilepsy medication I was on. I could barely speak. It gave me horrible dysarthria. So my speech was very slurred. Um, and thankfully that got better, but then just to find out that it's going to get worse over time again. Crazy. But yeah, I was literally on my bed in a sweater, hugging my stuffed animal, Gerard. He's a hedgehog, and spilling the teas, like I just, and the amount of love that I got from that video and what this has turned into, it's blown my mind. So, just people's kindness and how that feels, that is, that makes me go, wow. And just being able to experience this life, just literally being able to be here and experience life, even though my situation is not ideal and it sucks. And I do truly hate every second of it for me and everyone else in my position. But to still be here and in a weird way, feel lucky that this is my path, that this is my existence. I don't know. It all just ties into something greater than myself or any of us. But like, also maybe it's not that deep. Maybe this literally just happened and that's that. And we don't need to look too much into it. But all of that makes me go, wow. I love being alive. Someone asks, are you good living alone? I get a lot of questions like this. I think this is in regards to having a progressive neurodegenerative disease and if I need care and stuff like that. As of now, I do live alone and I love living alone. I prefer it. Um, Eventually, I know there will be a time, probably within the next 3 to 5 years, where I will need around the clock care. Um, Things are getting harder to do, like daily chores, tasks like dishes, cooking, laundry, things nobody likes to do anyway. But it's become very difficult. But I'm still able to live independently. I can still do them. They just take a lot longer. Getting ready in the morning and the day takes a lot longer, like brushing my teeth, showering. I mean, all of that could take me, getting dressed, all that could take me like 30, 40 minutes, probably even less, years ago. And now it takes me about 2 to 3 hours. And sometimes that's all I do. Sometimes I'll either shower, or if I make plans, I just won't shower and I'll shower the night before and then go out the next day. Like, for me to do both, it's really hard. So right now I am good living alone and I prefer it. I think it's important to maintain as much independence as I can while I still can. I think it also helps keep me active, even though everything I do is basically like exercise these days. But yeah, I love living alone and I am good where I'm at right now. This is a deep one as well. What would you have wanted your friends and family to do more of when you first got your diagnosis, support wise? They go on to say that I have a dear friend who was just recently diagnosed with ALS, and I don't know what to say or do to show him how much I love him and want to be there for him. This is a very tough question. I think that everyone in my life and my circle acted appropriately. I had family that I hadn't talked to in a while text me that day that, you know, we found out kind of what we were looking at. Um, Once we kind of like got like a bigger picture of like how this might go is probably going to go, um, people started reaching out and my friends are very supportive. I am so blessed to have a friend group like I do. I mean, I truly have lifelong friends. I I was always a very social person and I had friends in high school, who I thought I was close with, but growing up, I kind of realized that maybe they weren't as good of friends as, I thought. And I don't think I was a good friend back then. It wasn't until I moved away from home and started going to school and turned 18 and met these amazing, beautiful people that I will cherish in my life forever that that's when that's when I learned how to be a friend. They taught me how to be a true friend. So, you know, I just want to start out by saying my friends are beautiful human beings, beautiful souls, and they did everything right. They gave me space, they checked on me, they made it known that they're here for me. And I think that that's all you really can do in this situation. Check on your friends, tell them you love them, in any situation. As far as your situation and your friend, I'm so sorry to hear about your friend. My heart is truly with you and your friend. But I would just do exactly what you said. Um, just, you know, tell him how much you love him and how much you want to be there for him. Ask him what he needs. That would be that would be the first thing I would ask a friend if they were in this situation or faced with adversity or hardship like a terminal disease. All right, this person says, what is the one thing you want to absolutely accomplish or experience while you're still able? Well, it's hard because there is so much. I definitely want to release more music. I want to see this podcast grow. I want to, meet more people, make more friends. I do want to travel more, but I do not have a bucket list and I won't make one. And I'm going to tell you guys why I won't make one. I get this question a lot. People are like, especially in my lives and stuff like that, people are like, Mikey, what's on your bucket list? Like, share with us. And I don't have one and I don't want to make one because I feel like once I make that list, it's going to be a rush to do everything, which I understand people with terminal illnesses, neurodegenerative diseases, even just, chronic illness. It's, the clock is ticking and the clock is ticking for all of us, but some faster than others. And I feel like once I write all that stuff down, it's going to be a mental race in my head to get all this stuff done. And I don't want that. I don't want to put any pressure on myself. My motto lately is just kind of like, if I'll do it, I'll do it. If I can do it, I will do it. I'm not going to like hold any standards to myself. If I get the opportunity to travel somewhere beautiful and I feel like doing it and I can go, then yeah, I'm going to do it. Traveling is obviously very hard on me these days, but if I can make it happen, why not? So, there's not much other than just, like I said earlier, just experiencing whatever I can experience, whatever comes my way. If I'm feeling like doing it, I will do it. What are uncommon slash unexpected things about ALS that surprised you? Well, there are a lot. I did not realize. I, th- I To be fair, I didn't even know what ALS really was until my doctors were kind of starting to be like, "Hey, I think you have ALS. My epilepsy doctor was actually the first person, my epileptologist, he was the first person that was like, so I'm going to send you to an ALS clinic. He was like, you're not going to get a diagnosis today, but I think you should see them. And after that, kind of went down the rabbit hole of like, well, what is ALS? And at the time I was having breathing problems, but I thought it was a separate problem. I didn't know that the two were related. So I think just, realizing exactly what ALS is, how it affects somebody, but also the community out here, how supportive people are, and how much we really have each other's backs. The resources, the amount of resources that are available to people with ALS, it's just these people are really going out of their way to support us and make us feel seen, heard, loved, make sure we have everything that we need. I think that was a huge surprise. Um, on a deeper level, I think something that really surprised me was how fast things can progress, and just the I don't know, the emotional toll that it takes. I think like, you know, I thought I was prepared, but as time has gone on, I realize how unprepared I was and like still am. It's like no matter what you do, no matter how much you prepare, you really can't, it doesn't feel real. Every day doesn't feel real. So, yeah. What do you do for a living? Hopefully this. Hopefully this will be my career, my job. I don't know. I just love talking to people. I love talking. I love raising awareness. I love doing this, what I've been doing the last 2 years. Maybe we can turn this into something, and I'll be able to, I don't know, leave behind a legacy of something. What inspired your favorite song you've ever written? This is a good one. So I have a song called It's Been a Minute, and I wrote this song about losing yourself and finding yourself again. Um, I, the idea came to me because one day, this was like after like 2 years of, being sick and still not getting a diagnosis and going to doctors. I was just absolutely drained, but I was kind of in this like acceptance phase, which was really weird, despite what I was going through. But it was great. It was a huge step. So, but I remember waking up early one morning because I think I had physical therapy that day. And I remember going and looking in the mirror, and for a second, I like caught a glimpse of this like glowy version of myself, kind of like it just reminded me of who I used to be. And I was just like, I remember looking in the mirror and literally saying out loud, like, damn, it's been a minute. And so I kind of held on to that feeling for like a week, and I was like, I could turn this into a song. So yeah, so that's how I wrote It's Been a Minute. Someone asks, have your friends been there for you? You seem like such a chill guy. Thank you. I try to be chill. Yeah, my friend, like I was saying earlier, I have the best group of friends. My friends have absolutely been there for me. I have not felt alone since. And I also consider you guys my friends. Like I truly do. You guys have always been there for me. So, I never feel alone. And I'm just so thankful and blessed to have amazing people in my corner and in my life. I truly don't know how I got so lucky. Why did you move back to Texas? I moved back to Texas because, I was living, well, so I was living in Colorado for about a year, and that's kind of where my symptoms started. Started going to doctors there, but wasn't really getting anywhere. Also, it wasn't that serious. I just thought I was like burnt out, and I'll do a whole episode on my story and stuff like that. But yeah, I ended up having to move back to Texas in 2023 just because it was getting harder to take care of myself, harder to do stuff. I became unable to drive, still can't drive. Don't think I ever will be able to again. I could get to where I needed to go, just not safely. So better to not have me on the roads. But yeah, so I moved back just to make it easier on myself. I was having a lot of medical problems, and it just was easier on me and my whole family for me to just be closer to where I was. Someone said, girl, we need more info on these alien conspiracies. Bestie, I could do a whole episode on that too. Whatever you want to know, I got you. I 100% believe in aliens. It is absolutely insane to me. Out of the thousands of galaxies and planets in the entire thing of space, I don't even know what you would call it. The universe? Is that the universe? I don't know. How are we the only things here? Like, no, absolutely not. I believe in aliens. I have seen some weird stuff. I grew up in West Texas, and West Texas has one of like the largest like no light pollution zones or whatever. But so basically you could just see like the stars and everything's so clear out there, like in the mountains and the desert. I grew up in the Chihuahuan desert, so clear out there. Clear skies, beautiful. But I have seen some crazy stuff that I would love to share with you guys. But I'm such a kook. One time we were out on the lake and it was night, and I remember it was me, my mom, and my dad, and we were just cruising, and we were headed back to the house, and then all of a sudden we see like in a row these like 10 dots fly above us and just disappear, and we looked at each other and we were like, what was that? And while it was flying above us, I recorded it. I got a video. Maybe I'll put it in here. I don't know. It's so embarrassing. I think I deleted it because I was just so embarrassed. But I I recorded it and I was like, I caught a UFO. That's crazy. I caught a UFO. So tell me why. I sent this to my local news channel and I said, hey, this was flying over the lake. What do you guys think? Tell me why they sent a message back saying, baby, that's Starlink. As in Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink satellite, I blocked them. I blocked them 100% because I was so embarrassed. There was no way that I could walk around town and possibly run into one of these interns at the grocery store. Absolutely not. Blocked. Immediately. Immediately blocked. Gone. Yeah, so I'm very kooky when it comes to stuff like this. I love talking about aliens. Are you dating? I am open to it, but I have not dated anybody in a while. Last one. What is your favorite urban legend? Do you like haunted houses? When did you know you could say, oh, okay, Bessie, this is a lot. These are a lot of questions. I said one question. Ask me one question, but I love the enthusiasm, so it's fine. All right. Favorite urban legend? Gosh, I don't know. Mothman? Probably Mothman. Yeah, I'm a firm Mothman believer. Also, Bigfoot. I have seen a Bigfoot footprint in the Colorado mountains, in the Rockies. I could do an episode on that. Maybe we'll just do like an urban legends episode. Also, what is it? Oh, the last question you asked. What is your craziest dream you had? I don't know the context, but one time I was on this really crazy medication and I went to sleep, and in my dream, I was in a bathtub and Dr. Miranda Bailey from Grey's Anatomy was pouring a can of SpaghettiOs over my stomach in a bathtub. I have no more context. Absolutely none. So that was probably the weirdest dream that I've ever had. Those are all the questions. The last thing that I want to talk about is at the end of every episode, I kind of want to start this segment. It's called The Leftovers, and it's kind of just, this is the part of the podcast where we get kind of real. If we want to have a serious moment, this is where it's going to be. But I like to call it The Leftovers because it's what's left on the plate when you're done. But sometimes that's where the good stuff is. I also have a saying that I've been saying to people. It's like, it's not about what's on your plate. It's about what you do with your leftovers. Amen. Um, so, every week I'll kind of just try to have like a special message here. Um, there was one more question and I kind of saved it for this one. Somebody asked what kind of legacy that I want to leave behind. And it's a hard question because it's hard to imagine. It's not, let alone a lot of pressure and something very existential to think about if you're existential like me. But I don't know. I just want to, my content to be my legacy, my message, my positivity and hope for, the future and certain things. I think it's important to maintain hope but also being realistic and logistical at the same time. I think that you can be hopeful and still be real about it at the same time and still like experience your feelings as they come. Like I am not a fan of toxic positivity. So, being real about it at the same time is important to me, yeah, I don't know. Even in chaos, we can create comfort, you being here matters. So I think I want that to be my legacy. If that makes sense. Anyway, besties, this was so much fun, and thank you guys so much for watching and listening to my first episode of this podcast. That is all I have for you today. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out more than you guys know. And if you feel inclined, please join my Patreon. It really helps tremendously with supporting this show. And I would love to see you there. We have different perks. I think I have 3 different groups you can join. There will be, behind the scenes episodes. You can watch episodes of my podcast early. You know, videos and content that aren't accessible to other people or just regular, or that just aren't accessible on my regular social medias. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'll do special lives on there, special events, Q&As, all that kinds of stuff. And you guys will always get first picks when I'm trying to figure out what kind of episode I want to talk about. There will also be a discussion board on there, and I think that'll be a great way for us to communicate. And we can just become closer. So highly recommend checking out my Patreon. Well, it was so good to see you. Thank you for coming over to my house, and I cannot wait to see you again. Please remember to be kind to yourself and others. Be kind to your neighbor, and I will see you when I see you. Bye, besties.